Hi guys, Billy back, and this time we're going to be looking at some of the figures I didn't actually review on the channel roughly around this year, but maybe coming to the end of last year as well. Now I have had some figures come in and for whatever reason I didn't review them, and mostly because, well, by the time I got, say, the hot toys like these ones here, they'd already been reviewed to death. You've seen a billion videos of these things already. Also, I might have not been in the greatest of health, whatever the reasons. So when the figures arrived, I just unboxed them and enjoyed them just like everybody else did. But now that I've got a few minutes and there's a space in my channel waiting for figures to arrive, why not have a quick chat about them? It's just going to be me putting my opinion out there for certain figures. But oh, I forgot to put a light on, hang on. Also, I'd just like to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel. I have now hit over 3,000 subscribers and it's growing, and I'm really chuffed. And one of the targets I put out there, if I hit 3,000 subscribers, was I was going to get a mug for myself, and it was going to be branded with the channel. So happy days, we now have ourselves a 1/6 Cave mug that I'm now going to drink my tea from. Oh god, I love tea. But yeah, thanks overwhelmingly for the support, guys. It is appreciated. But anyway, let's just get on and have a chat about certain figures. And the first one we're going to talk about is Black Widow from Endgame. Now this one I didn't review just because I didn't have the energy and I didn't think I could contribute anything to the conversation in terms of what it's like. But as you can see, the head sculpt is just fantastic on this one. This is the highlight of the whole figure, is that head sculpt. It is amazing, and I really love the fact that they've been able to achieve sculpted hair here without hindering articulation in the neck and things like that. Not like that new snowsuit or sort of like Arctic suit Black Widow that's coming out for her movie. That thing is just, it just looks like it can't articulate. Even they got professionals in to try and put some poses in for the figure, and it just doesn't look like it moves very much. So if you are going to get that one, I'd say that's going to be a sort of museum pose one, to be honest. Now this one again isn't the most articulated figure in the world. Again, she's got that really sort of skin tight suit, and it makes it really hard to move about without causing creases and bends and possible the suit sticking to itself, because it's that 3D printed fabric stuff that they've been doing recently. But again, it looks really good. And yeah, this is definitely going to be my definitive Black Widow in the collection, I think. She's one of the ones where they haven't really changed much over the years, but of all the suits that she's got, these tiny little bits of red accents just through here and on the gauntlets and things like that, her stingers with the guns and the battens. Now the battens here I've swapped over because these are actually the Infinity War battens, and I just thought that the plain black ones that she had, they just look really plastic and toy-like, and it doesn't really add anything to the actual figure, especially as she's got like sculpted hair and it's all sort of plaited up. So these show up more on this than say they do on the Infinity War figure. So I just put the Infinity War ones on, because on the Infinity War one, her hair pretty much covers the battens at the back, and you can see, you kind of see it sticking through, but not massively. So they're kind of hidden. So it didn't really matter which ones I put in there, just as long as, you know, I put something in. And this lady, because of the sculpted hair, these stick out more, so I decided to swap them over just to add a little bit more colour. And that's one of the bonuses of having multiples of one figure. Christ, what is wrong with me? I've got like 5 Black Widows in the collection now. Yeah, does anybody else just have too many Black Widows in their collection? I feel like I can't be the only one. But yeah, she is a great figure. Just again, why didn't they put a split cut in that boot? It's beyond me. I know it's not going to be the most posable figure anyway, and maybe that's why they did it, to try and stop you from over posing, because they thought if you do that, there's going to be more damage on the figures and then more backlash and hassle. So if they take the split cut out, maybe it's just easier for them to do that, and then people won't be so quick to, you know, repose the figure and just go make it all messed up and then ruin the suit and then just complain about it online constantly. She's a great looking figure though, that head sculpt, my god, absolutely love it. Okay, coming into, let's have a look at Whiplash now. Move all this out of the way. Let's have a look. Come here, you. Look at this guy. He's a bit wonky at the moment. I'm still trying to get a pose out of him. Let's have a look. But yeah, this was one of the ones I never picked up when it first came out. And at the time, because I don't know why, but at the time, you know, I was really selective about what I was collecting. Plus also, a lot of people, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, were prioritizing heroes over villains, because these were the first Hot Toys that we were getting in our collections, and we didn't know exactly how much money we had. It was a lot of cash to spend on a figure, so we prioritized Captain America and Iron Man and Black Widow and Hulk and Hawkeye and all those people, and we prioritized those. And so when the villains were showing up, we were like, I don't really want a villain in my collection before a hero. I think the villains are picking up now, because a lot of people do have a Captain America and they do have an Iron Man, and now they want somebody from the villain side. So the fact that Hot Toys were able to release this guy, or re-release this guy with new paint apps and everything, is just, I think it's fantastic, because now everybody gets a chance to be able to pick up in a timely fashion the figures that they want. Why is this guy's hand popped out? Ah, damn it. Okay, I'll put the whip back in, although it's probably going to pop out again. But yeah, I'm absolutely chuffed that they've managed to actually come back out with this guy. And I was surprised that this guy actually still is in stock, because this was a Toy Fair exclusive and it cost quite a chunk of money actually. I was surprised at how much it cost, really, considering it is a repaint and a sort of rehash of an old figure. But they did a really great job, especially with all those tattoos. They could have really gone over the top and made them look really sort of dark and just look like they've been stuck on with transfers. But they've done a really great job with actually getting these guys on and making them look faded and tired. And then you can see Mickey Rourke in there for sure. It's still a nice figure. It was nice back then, but again, like I said, people were just trying to fill out their collection with some superheroes before they actually got into picking up the villains. And now I think if they were able to revisit a few more of the Marvel villains, I think people would be a bit more warm to the prospect of picking them up, rather than they were 5 or 6 years ago when they were just scrambling to get the main characters from the movies in the first place. There's only so much money to go around, you know. However, like everybody says, no orange jumpsuit, and I think that was a licensing issue. I think the race course wanted money for it or something like that, or they didn't allow permission for an orange jumpsuit. So what they did was they gave it a sort of browny orange, and you know, finally got it approved on this sort of colour setup, rather than with a full orange jumpsuit. People just bought orange jumpsuits and stuck them on and weathered them and whatnot. I'm not sure I'll bother. I don't know, at some point I might if I get bored, but you know, the brown sort of jumpsuit doesn't bother me too much. He's going to look fantastic next to the Whiplash Mark II, that big hulking die-cast thing. Yeah, that again, I've always said that there was a beautiful looking figure. Not wholly movie accurate because of the helmet, but no biggie really. No one really sees that. They just see a big hulking die-cast Whiplash Mark II and they go, Jesus Christ, look at that thing. And I will be surprised if they ever reissue that. Never say never, especially with the die-cast stuff. We've seen how popular it is. But yeah, I will be surprised if they ever bother with that again. Okay, moving on to Ronin. Now this is a really fantastic set that Hot Toys put together. Not only do you get Ronin, but if you bought the deluxe, you got a whole load of bits added for Hawkeye, and it was just a fantastic set because you just got so many accessories, and you also got this really awesome sort of Ronin head sculpt, and all these little accents of gold all the way through the suit make it stand out quite a lot. I really loved the design of this guy. It was just so cool, and as soon as I saw him in the movie I was just like, that's going to be an awesome Hot Toy. And it is. It's fantastic. Some of the details, like all these little fabric straps that are on the actual suit here, are really nice. I love all these little bits of sort of samurai armor that they've put onto the figure itself. But yeah, I absolutely love what they did with this whole set. And if you've got the deluxe version, you can just add everything together and sort of kit bash your own sort of Hawkeye in the background. Now this guy doesn't have the harness on because I made a Hawkeye and he has to have his bows and arrows. So he's got the sort of harness bit here. I wish they'd given us 2 of these in the set, because now those are really hard to come by, and you have to make a choice of, do you have Hawkeye with his bows and arrows on his back, or do you have Ronin with a sword sheath on his back? You can't have both. So if 1/6 Kit or someone like that was able to set up a whole set of these little straps so that you could stick a harness on the back of him, that would be fantastic. But again, look, this guy's got a split boot here, so you can articulate the feet a little bit and get him into some more action poses. And the suit is a little bit more forgiving. It feels like there's lycra on the inside of the legs here, which actually allows you to stretch him out a little bit more. Same with the arms here. These bits have a little bit of lycra on the inside, so it doesn't feel like you're absolutely damaging the suit by putting him into a pose like this and bending the arms like a total badass. And where's Hawkeye? Let's get Hawkeye over here, because I did a little bit of a mod, a really sort of subtle mod to this guy. I gave him new boots. I had to buy a pair of combat trousers, and I had to buy like an undershirt for him, and then I just used all the extra bits from the rest of the figure to make up a Hawkeye. And you can see this is the vest that Hawkeye has, and he's wearing that vest. He's also got the harness on, and he's also got the bows and arrows, and that's a Hawkeye head. And then he's got like his little miniature arrow shooter on his wrist guard here, plus I've managed to put one of the forearm straps that he had just up here on the upper arm to add some detail to the upper arm. He's got some gold accents on the boots there. I think these were like, these are just from 1/6 Kit or something like that. I saw somebody else do it online. They just used these boots. So then I took a bit of gold paint. I just added some accents to the buckles so that they match some of the gold accents up here. And I was lucky enough that I saw the Anakin Skywalker robotic arm that was on eBay. And I had a feeling that that might work with this guy. So I bought it and I swapped out the forearm for Anakin Skywalker arm. And yeah, I absolutely love how that looks. It makes him look like he's a proper, like he lost something when he was going out there as Ronin and fighting and causing loads of problems. He didn't come back unscathed, so to speak. I was tempted to add like scars to the eye or something like that. I didn't get around to doing it in the end. But yeah, I think that because of the gold leaf inside the Anakin arm, it really does, it matches perfectly with the gold leaf accents in his suit just up here. And yeah, it seemed to work really well for this guy. So yeah, I was really chuffed. And now I've got a Hawkeye in my collection that looks a little bit different from everybody else's out there. So yeah, with just a little bit more expense, buying some combat trousers, some boots, an undershirt here, that kind of thing, you can kind of give yourself like a second figure. So now you've got 2 Hawkeyes in your collection for the price of just over 1, I'd say. And now mine, it stands out a little bit more to everybody else's. Now the neck, I think, is a little long. I'd like to be able to get that neck down a little bit more, but I have to modify it and it takes a little bit of time. So yeah, once I've actually got a bit of free time, I think all I got to do is just mod the neck a tiny little bit more, and then it will just sort of sit further down in the head. Because some people have mentioned that maybe the neck is a little long. It is a little bit, but it depends on how you pose him as well. Because once I put his head down a little bit, it sort of hides the length of the neck a little bit more. So yeah, I haven't been too bothered about getting that sorted just yet, but I will. And another one that I'm absolutely enamored with is this one, Alita Battle Angel. My God. Yeah, this is an amazing figure. You can see all the bits in here that sort of feel like they're supposed to be some sort of muscle, but they're actually like nanomites or something like that. This metal is really sort of got a nice gloss and sheen to it. It's got another otherworldly feel. The joints are super tight, a little bit too tight if I'm honest. I know it sounds stupid to say, but yeah, sometimes you're moving the legs around, there's a bit of a squeak in there, and it can feel like you're potentially going to snap it. But I absolutely love everything about this figure. I'm not going to put the black suit on because the instructions say it could cause staining of the body. With all the detail in this body, I just couldn't bring myself to actually damage it. I just can't do it. So yeah, she needs to not have the suit on, I'm afraid. She looks great with the suit though. I do admit, when I see other people's pictures and she's wearing the suit, it looks fantastic, but I just can't bring myself to do it and end up staining and damaging my Alita figure, especially when there's so much detail in here. Plus also you can get her into more extreme poses and stuff like that without the suit on. So I'm more than happy to keep her like this, so that every so often I can play around and pose her. My only criticisms again is the hair. For me it was a bit of a bad choice. She needed the real hair. I know it sounds stupid. Real hair annoys me a lot of the time. You know, I don't want to be brushing my dolly's hair every 5 seconds, but this is one that I think it could have worked with so much better. And I've seen customs and they're going for exorbitant prices. One person's selling them for like, what is it, 115 euros a hair piece? It's a lot. So it's pretty crazy, especially when you think that maybe, you know, Hot Toys could have given you the option of both. You know, she could have had hair, real hair, and then maybe this hair, like sculpted hair cap, would just be put in the box. And if you didn't like the real hair, you could take it and swap it over. But, you know, I don't pretend to know how much money this costs to make. I'm pretty sure all the engineering and financing that cost to actually design, sculpt and make molds for this body pretty much took all the cash away. So yeah, I understand it is a shame that we couldn't have gotten real hair with Alita, but again, it's not a big deal. It still looks great, and I really do love all the details, the fact that you can move her eyes around, the fact that she's got that really sort of cool sword. A lot of people have been buying that new sort of third-party die-cast sword for her. I don't really feel the need to. I don't think a die-cast sword on this figure would be beneficial in any way whatsoever. The lighter the accessory, the easier it is for her to hold it, and then she's not going to actually have tired joints as quickly over the years. And I do like the use of the base. This is something that they've used before. They've used it for a few anime figures, I think, and the Civil War Captain America battle version. They use this stand as well. It's a nice stand, it looks good, and it sort of elevates her up a little bit and gives her a bit more presence. It's a bit like if you stand her next to Hawkeye and that, you can see she's not massively towering over him, despite the fact that her base is way thicker. So yeah, I do think for sort of female figures and that, slightly taller bases do work a little bit better. Yeah, Alita, amazing figure, I love it. And next up we've got Wasp from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I have to say, overall she's a really nice figure. I do like the suit, I think it looks great. There's this sort of seamless sort of sculpted bit up here that leads down into the body's print, and you can see that there is some sort of print on this fabric, and it feels like a very stretchy lycra here, but then it's got this sort of 3D print on the outside. My only concern is just around here. I really hope that this doesn't start to peel away over the years, which it's a concern. You know it might, but you hope it doesn't. But you never know, it possibly could. But again, look, they put a split boot in her foot here. I don't understand it, but yeah, they've done it, and I don't see why they couldn't have done it for a few of the others like Gamora and Black Widow. But I don't design these toys. I don't pretend to know how they think. You know, sometimes they've got to bring the costs down, and that's a smart way to do it. However, this Hope Van Dyne is fantastic. I absolutely love the wings on this. Massive presence on the shelf. Lovely design. You can peel these back and forward a little bit and get them posed up. And she looks fantastic flying around with all your sort of Marvel characters surrounding her. She can still pull your eye in. And the light up feature in the face really does work. Highlights the eyes beautifully, and you can see the actress inside. Evangeline Lilly, I think. She looks great. And the lovely shininess of the helmet. Yeah, I was really glad I picked this one up because yeah, this needed to be in the collection. As it is, I don't think I'm going to be extreme posing her a lot, just because of the suit. I don't want any of those transfers peeling away. But again, I'm also not completely terrified to pose her, and I have put her in flight poses and things like that before, and it really works for the figure. But when you do have her in an ensemble setup, you do have to be careful with the wings, because they are sort of plastic and stuff. You don't want to snap one off, because if you do, you're never going to be able to pose her with her wings ever again. I haven't actually given her an original sort of transparent base. She's got her normal one. Just in case I decide to put her in a flight pose, I can do, because she's got that flight pole at the back. But at some point I probably will swap the stands around so that she's got her own sort of Perspex clear stand rather than the original Hot Toys one, because this one kind of takes up a little bit more space than I'm happy with, especially for my collection room, because space is at a premium now. And the unhelmeted head sculpt is just, I'm sorry, it looks exactly like Evangeline Lilly. It looks fantastic, and it's the complete opposite of the Ant-Man that looks yeah. So yeah, the Evangeline Lilly head sculpt, perfect. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. What? I didn't review this guy on the channel? No, by the time I got him, everyone had reviewed him. This was the most probably reviewed figure on YouTube probably ever, the Diecast Mark 7. Everybody was jumping on this thing, and I was just like, I tell you what, the best thing I can say about this is to say nothing. I picked him up a lot later than, you know, the day one purchases and things like that. And I picked him up on sale as well, because he was being sold by someone who, you know, wasn't so enamored with it. And I wasn't going to pick him up. I definitely wasn't going to pick him up. I had the plastic version, and I was happy with the plastic version. However, this guy popped up on my Facebook feed for a really ridiculously low price. So yeah, I messaged the seller and I said, still available? And he went, yeah. And I went, well, I'll have it then. And then I sold my plastic version for just a little bit under what I paid for this guy, so he didn't cost me much at all. And honestly, it's a beautiful figure. Yeah, the die cast in it is just wow. You can feel the coldness of the whole figure because it's just so good. He looks fantastic, and all the extras and all the accessories and stuff like that you get with him, just nailed it. And then when they gave him that sort of satin finish rather than the gloss finish that the original came with, it really does sort of bring that next level of paint application to this figure and makes him look like he just came out of the Avengers movie. It's a beautiful piece. There's not much that can be said other than the engineering is just out of this world. Again, all these extra accessories, all the battle damage bits, it just all works fantastically to give him that sort of gravitas on the shelf that most people would like. And I can't believe I nearly missed out on him, if I'm honest, because I was gonna just stick with my plastic version and carry on with my life. But yeah, this guy came up and he was a bargain, and I'm glad I picked him up. I really am. Sometimes it's a bit like when I passed up on the War Machine Mark 1, the diecast version. I kicked myself. It just came out at the wrong time, you know. It just came out at the completely wrong time. I had so many pre-orders, I had so much stuff I needed to pay for, and War Machine was not a priority in my life. So I let it go, and then I said to myself, I'll pick it up later, you know, someone's bound to sell it second hand, something like that. And then yeah, no one did. And anybody who was selling it second hand just ramped the price up to 2 or 3 times its worth. So yeah, it never ended up in my collection. But yeah, no, I'm going to correct that right now. I promise you, it's on pre-order now with Sideshow. So I'm definitely picking up the War Machine Mark 1 diecast, and that's never leaving my collection. But yeah, this Mark 7 is just absolutely epic. Every single angle on this figure is a treat to look at. Even from the back, this guy looks amazing. One of the details I absolutely love is this face sculpt inside the actual mask. I love the fact that they've got all these little metal accents all the way around the outside here, just to make it look like he did at the end of the movie when they pull the face mask off. Looks great. Damage they've put into that helmet as well. Fantastic. And the fact that they've even given you all the pieces for the pod, like that was one of those things that people were looking for years. They wanted that the pod that flies out the window and attaches to him. It was like the next upgrade of suit, and everybody was fighting for it. I mean, I will never use it. I will never use it, just because I think people bought like 2 Iron Man, and then they had one in pod form and they had one like this, and nah, it was never going to happen for me. So I ended up even making a bit more money back because I sold the pod pieces off. Yeah, and someone bought them. So fantastic, really. I think this actually cost me less than the plastic version sold for in the end. I can't complain. I've got this Mark 7 diecast in my collection and he looks amazing. Neon Tech War Machine. This guy was going on sale in a lot of stores in the UK. I can't remember where I picked this guy up. I think it was Zavi for like, I think it was discount codes and all sorts. I ended up picking this guy up really cheap. No, actually, thinking about it, I think this was like Kapow Toys. Yeah, I think it was Kapow Toys, and they had him for an absolute bargain price relative to how much he originally cost. And they must have sold him for like, you know, cost. They mustn't have made any money off of him, but they were probably just trying to get rid of excess stock. And he was definitely worth the price to me, and he looks fantastic. I have the Neon Tech Mark 6, so this was going to look really good next to the Mark 6. We're going to have the Mark 6 and the Mark 1 War Machine standing next to each other. However, I will say that without the sort of black light shining on it, it does come off as a little flat. You really need a black light to bring these Neon Techs to life and make them look the way they were designed to look. So that's probably what I'm going to do next, is probably get like a display case of some kind, fit some UV lighting in there so that I can turn it off and on again, just all lit up brightly. It's daylight outside, it's too bright. The black light won't work right now. I do have one, but yeah, it's a shame I can't actually show that off right now. I do love the sort of matte black with the gloss black. It all works really well together. And when this guy shines up under black light, boom, the whole thing comes to life and it looks superb. And what a beast it is. But I can see why people have been shy to pick this one up at the price that they're charging, because it is definitely surplus to requirement, and only the diehard of the diehard Iron Man collectors will probably be picking up variants like this. But I will recommend, if you do get a chance to pick this guy up in a good sale, do so, because you will be impressed once you get it in hand and you get a black light shining on it. It does look fantastic. Okay, here's another one I didn't review, the Susu Toys or Soso Toys Dark Spider, aka Noir Spider-Man figure. And this is a really, really nice figure. I always thought that the Noir Spider-Man looked cool as F, and I think Soso Toys have done a really great job recreating the sort of comic book style of this guy. At the price it was worth picking up, and I absolutely love the design and style of this guy. Now I've got him lower down on the shelf. I've bent the arm so that he can actually fit onto this shelf properly, but normally he's really high up in the back of my sort of Marvel collection display, and he's flying through the air, whipping his web, and he's like waving that gun around, and he looks cool as hell. And I really like the way that he actually has these sort of really nice trousers that are a bit loose, so that you can put him into a semi sort of action pose. But that head sculpt is phenomenal. Let's bring this down and have a look, because I really love the way they've got that translucent lens in there, and you can see the strap going all the way around the back of the head, and you can even highlight all the stitching inside the actual mask itself. It looks like he's made this, and it looks fantastic. And all these little details like the buckles and the buttons and everything like that really works. He's got like this pleather holster here. It's bang on. Like this was really, really good. I remember when I saw them teasing the head sculpt for this guy on their Facebook page, I was like, the second you put this up for a pre-order, I'm jumping on it. Just tell me when and I'll go for it, because this is definitely something that I want in my collection. I know Soso tend to do like X-Men stuff. It's never been my kind of thing. I wasn't a big fan of the X-Men movies, shock horror. I used to collect the comic books back in the 90s when I was a teenager, but you know, I never felt the films kind of got it. You know, a lot of people did, and they had a hard job to do, but for me, it didn't work for me. So I was never a big fan of the movies. I watched them all though. That's the weird thing. I watched them all hoping that the next one would be better than the last, but they just got worse and worse and worse for the most part. So whenever they announced the new X-Men figure, I was just like, meh, I can give all of them a swerve. But yeah, as soon as they did the Dark Noir Spider-Man, I was just like, yeah, I can't avoid Soso Toys anymore. I'm going to have to buy one of their figures. So yeah, I think this is the first and only Soso Toys figure in my collection. Let me just check that out, because I think I might be lying a little bit because I think I have I have the So Toys John Wick head sculpt. So I have a head sculpt from them, but this is the first full figure I've ever actually picked up from them and kept in the collection, I think. But yeah, if this is the kind of thing you're going to be doing from now on, So Toys, yeah, I'm on board. Okay, and finally, this is the 1/6 kit Henry Cavill head sculpt for Superman, and yeah, I'm so glad I picked this one up. I didn't realise at the time what I was doing. I pre-ordered it when it first went up, and I thought to myself, it'll be like a recast of the original sort of one from Batman v Superman, or you know, the Justice League one, and it will look good on my Man of Steel figure, because the film accuracy of the Man of Steel figure head sculpt is a little bit off now when you put them side by side, but as it is, it wasn't. It was a completely new sculpt. It had a slightly less sort of aggressive frown on his face and everything, and it just, once I stuck it on the Man of Steel figure, it made the whole thing just pop. If I could bring the neck down a little bit, I would, like a fraction, only a fraction, and I've modded the head sculpt so that I can get the neck port in and it sits down a little bit lower. But yeah, I absolutely love this head sculpt. It has now brought the Man of Steel figure back to life, and it's reinvigorated it for me. And yeah, I'm so glad I picked this head sculpt up. If you get a chance, I would, because it's just chef's kiss, you know. Okay guys, that's it for now. That was just a little catch up with you to have a chat about some of the figures I didn't get a chance to review on my channel, but hopefully we're all caught up now. I have plenty of other figures I haven't reviewed as well, mostly like the NECA Turtles and things like that. I don't feel the need to. There's so many channels that do that kind of thing, they specialise in it. That and the fact that my channel is called 1/6 Cave, not NECA Ninja Turtles Cave. Okay, that's it guys. If you could do me a favour now, if you could hit the like button and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh yeah, and get the fuck out of my cave. Bye bye.